Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Justin, and
I'm Max, and this is Justin and Max Games.
And today we are going to be reviewing
DinoGenics, along with its expansion, Controlled Chaos.
Now, DinoGenics was a birthday gift that you received last year, so 2019, and Mom bought this as a Kickstarter because you are a collector of
dinosaur games.
That's absolutely true. Max has been a dinosaur fan since he's a kid. And so when we first got it, it was right around the same time that Dinosaur Island also came out. And we
Which is
also
also
had,
an excellent game.
Which is also an excellent game. And we had a whole bunch of dinosaur games, and I was like, oh, is this just going to be more of the same? And what do you think?
It is not.
It's not. Now, when we originally played it, with the Kickstarter edition and everything like that, it came with a rule book and wonderful
meeples for each dinosaur.
Yeah, they're wooden. Each dinosaur.
Each individual dinosaur has their own little meeple.
It looks
wonderful.
Wonderful, absolutely fantastic. I mean, even not the most popular dinosaurs like Therizinosaurus.
They're all in there.
Now,
Therizinosaurus in the expansion.
That is in the expansion. That's
but
true.
So there's a very wide range of dinosaurs, and not all of them are that well known.
Yeah, and there's like ammonites in the expansion, and all these, and each of them have their own wooden piece.
That is appropriate size.
Now it's a worker placement game, and we love worker placement games, and we're building our individual parks. There was a big problem though with the original game, which was
it was unbalanced.
Very much so. Now I've been on arguments on Board Game Geek with people who love the game, and they're like, well, you're playing it wrong. You have to play it more aggressively. You have to go almost counterintuitive to what you want to do, and I don't know. I just didn't like that
it was
approach.
Just after third round, someone would be ahead by 15 points, and by the end of the game, they'd beat you by like 45 points.
It was a runaway leader problem, and there's a lot of comments about it on Board Game Geek, and we've had a couple other really fun games, and then we had to think about, are we going to put some house rules in to make it more fun? Apex is one of those games.
But then we're like, let's try the expansion first.
That's when the expansion came out, and then that came out only recently.
And it came out and with also some balance fixes.
It came out with some balance. Now, once the expansion came out, we replayed the game a year later. Still the same. I won like by 30 points, and everyone, because the issue is that once you score a dinosaur early on in the game, unless it dies,
every round.
It scores every round. So if you can get a big
like if you get a T-Rex out second round,
7 points.
7 points times 6. That's a huge percentage of your score.
So everyone's always trying to catch up with you, and buildings can give you points, but there was definitely, in our opinion, a balance issue in the game. When the expansion called Controlled Chaos came out, let's get the instruction booklet for that. Now, when this second edition came out, the original rule book was replaced with a much larger and better explained rule book, and it has a variant that basically is towards gamers like us. It's called the corporate bailout or something, where
it balances it much more.
And then with the expansion, there are so many ways of mitigating problems.
There's a lot of wilds, so you won't, like, if you get very good draws or very bad draws, that could completely sway the game and you're done. But with all the wilds, you only need 1 or 2 of a card, and you'll be able to get it out if you strategize in a way, not hoping that you get the card.
Right, because there were some times when we played this recently where without the expansion, with the original rules, where you do some draws from the DNA deck, and let me just say, the art on the cards, beautiful.
Oh yeah, the art in this game is
very, very, very clear, and the manipulation cards are beautiful. Everything.
Most of them just much of you.
If I do have to have a little criticism, like some of the buildings
have
iconography. Yeah, it's a little bit figured.
So like whenever we refill the 3, we always go over them in the rule book.
Right.
But once we do, then it's pretty easy.
Yes, and we have again we got the Kickstarter, so
And
we
we're
have
slowly-
all of these really nice pieces, the metal coins and these really nice
Fences.
the fences for your park. But to me, once you play with Controlled Chaos,
And with corporate bailout,
with Corporate Bailout,
it balanced the game.
yeah, when we first played this last year, we played it at 2 players, 3 players, and 4 players.
We were like
I love
7, 6.5.
I was at 5, to be honest with you, and it was because of
No, because even back then, the gameplay was wonderful.
and that's to be
still, the
still,
gameplay is
even with
amazing.
the base game,
It
even
was
with the
just
old rules,
the numbers were off.
the numbers just didn't seem right for us.
But then
Because whoever has the highest reputation from getting a good dinosaur
goes
early,
first, gets
goes
more
first,
people,
gets more people, more money, gets first choice on things that are out there.
and then they build another dinosaur, and now you're losing too.
Yeah.
Because like if you're behind, you're gonna get even further behind.
Now, let me say, even when it would be these large gaps in scoring, I still had a great time figuring out the best way to put my
It'd be
part
like,
together.
Okay, he's gonna win. Anyway, I'm still having a blast. 'Cause this is
Yeah.
a game. And they got little goats.
Oh yeah, they gotta feed them with the goats. Yeah, this game is a parody of Jurassic Park, and you've commented like, how are they not being sued for some of the images on some of these cards?
There's one card that I can't remember the character or actor's name, but it's the computer engineer, and it's literally a picture of the actor, and embryo theft.
And
I'm like,
it's
how?
exactly the same story as Jurassic
I'm like,
Park.
how is that?
But it's a parody, and I don't really feel the parody when I'm playing. I'm really building my own park as best as possible, combining the strategies I have for which animals I'm buying, which buildings, and now that with the expansion there are aquatic animals and different types of DNA you can get.
Like,
It's exciting.
this game.
Exciting. This fixes it. I would personally always play with the corporate bailout.
Like it went from like a 1/3 point spread to like.
Oh yeah, look the difference in this most recent game.
We calculated it's about 3 to 4% difference
Yeah.
rather than like 15 to 33%.
Oh yeah, it was huge, and actually, I thought I might win. See, that's one thing that never
also-
happened in previous games.
Yeah.
I always knew I'm gonna win, or there's no way I can pick
It
up.
was
you know.
all like I was winning for a good chunk of the game,
Mhm.
but at all times it was by about at most 10. At most.
And then Mom was getting a whole bunch of stuff. I leapfrogged you a few times.
we went back and forth.
Went back and forth, so it
And
was competitive.
And we ended. It was like it was in the 160s, and we were 7 points difference.
That's you. Now, so you got down to, I should have done that one thing, which is what I love about games, when you rethink,
You're like,
I should have done that
But then
thing.
now that opens up something else I could have done.
Yeah,
Which
exactly.
then you almost get more points, or the.
And in the end, even though I actually came in last place, even though I thought I could win, I looked at my park that I had
And you're
built
like,
and sustained,
That's cool.
and I was like, that's cool. I got these cool dinosaurs. I made it work
You
with
filled
what I
up your
was
park.
I almost feel that maybe if you did play with just the base game with the large point value differences, that you can do maybe like, I just thought about this recently, like 3 or 4 games, and then just add up all the points that you've gotten over the 3 or 4 games together and see who did best over like a campaign of
Over
them.
4 years.
Right.
Of Dino
Now,
parking.
to be honest, there is also a lot of like solo play and cooperative things that I haven't even explored, which gets me to the next point, which is replayability.
Which is infinite.
Infinite. We haven't even touched. We've played the game 6 times.
And we haven't even touched all the breaking news cards.
There's a whole bunch of new ones of the
The
expansion.
different dinosaurs. Like, we just played with the expansion, and we got a decent amount of the aquatic animals, but we didn't get half of them out.
I know. Look how many animals. There's so many of these beautiful wood meeples, and they're all like
And-
they're just waiting for you to build them.
And it's so exciting. It's like, see this cool thing? Bam!
Yes, I
did
got
it.
a Spinosaur in the right thing, and I've got enough goats to feed him, and he's in an area where if he does rampage...
Which he will rampage,
Yeah.
but then you can counteract it. Like, I got this knife, I get $1 for him rampaging.
Or he rampaged twice against me, and he destroyed 2 of my people, and he also broke some fences. But it wasn't a big deal. I was able to mitigate it.
But then the other thing was,
Yeah.
that fence was like, kind of unnecessary, but the people would have been 3 points, and you would.
Yeah, see?
Because the thing was, like, just little things that completely changes the order.
Yes. I like the game way more. I would play it always with the expansion. I'm never playing this without the expansion.
This game is.
Oh, and then you get the people.
Then you get the people that you can
the
spend.
specialists.
These cards are really good, but you can spend them to get the specialist people, and then there's a whole other level, and there's another.
And now, just as a comparison, because I know the big thing has been comparing this one to Dinosaur Island. Let me get the box. Now I know, probably the game designer hates his game constantly being compared to this one
because they're both wonderful games.
They both came out at the same time.
They both came out at the same time.
They both do the same thing.
They both arbitrary. You build a park with dinosaurs.
You got to get visitors.
That's about the last similarity.
Yeah, this one is more traditional Euro game of
it's less like
going through a series of things.
You will do it together. Less worker placement.
It is less worker placement, and everyone's going through the same procedures at the same time. You first start off with the DNA, and you're building a park, and it's even divided into the two halves of like having the things.
They're both wonderful games, but I did say DinoGenics is a little better.
I would choose DinoGenics over Dinosaur. I will play Dinosaur Island again.
I'll play Dinosaur Island.
We have the expansion to it. I like the game very, very much. Duelosaur, the one for 2 players with the dice and all like that.
But with the expansion that is now balanced and all the extra stuff, I love this game.
Same here.
In my top 10, maybe even top 5.
Top 10 or top 5?
Possibly.
Is it above Apex? No. Okay.
Not
so there is one more dinosaur game that you like more called Apex. But
that's where arbitrarily, like gameplay value, this is my, how the gameplay works, this is my favorite dinosaur game.
Yeah. I think if you like dinosaurs, or even if you're not that big in dinosaurs, you like worker placement, building and maintaining and seeing if you can outdo your other person. This is a great
I love this.
I'm going to give the game, without the expansion, I think I'm around a 5.5 or 6. However,
with expansion,
with the expansion and with corporate
bailout,
I've actually gone all the way up to 8.5. Maybe even 9. I'll go 9.
I was around like a 6.5, 7 with before, but now with all the extra stuff, I'm like a 9.5.
That's what I thought you would be. So do you think a 9.25 would be a reasonable
rating?
For
DinoGenics and the expansion, Controlled Chaos. Ah!